committee today, but we're not, you know, once again, until he gets on, we're not going to be able to do that. So we're going to actually start and kick it off with the Northeast Ohio Sewer District, and they will be here presenting. And we have Raquel Gregory, which is from the Billing and Program Specialist, and Eliezer Machucha is the Customer Service Representative. I talk to residents all the time who have lost their job due to the pandemic and are financially struggling. So we want to ensure that residents are fully aware of the resources that are available to help, you know, to at least help relieve that burden. So I'm going to kind of turn it over to Raquel.
Great.
Councilwoman, I believe we're going to start with, this is Jacqueline Muhammed. I am the Senior Manager of Government and Customer Relations at the Sewer District. And I believe we're going to kick off with Angela Jones, if that's okay.
Oh, definitely. Yep. You guys go ahead, take over.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right. Well, good afternoon, everyone. I need, Councilwoman, can you disable your screen sharing for me?
Okay, done.
All right. I've just got a few slides that I just want to go over. We have not been in the community lately, and just want to kind of go over the, you know, some of the basics of who we are, what we do, and why we do it. And then also really share information about our Help Us Here campaign, as well as, here we go, and talk about some community benefits that we have. So here we go. So I'm Angela Jones, I'm Senior Government Affairs Specialist, and I'm joined here today with Raquel Gregory, our Billing and Program Specialist. We also have Eliezer, who is also a Community Service Rep. And then we also have Jacqueline Muhammed, who's our Senior Manager, who is over Government Affairs and Customer Service. So I just want to talk a little bit about who we are. So the Sewer District is not a function of the City of Cleveland. We actually kind of were broken off from the City of Cleveland in 1972 by court order. We were sued by the surrounding communities to kind of improve the infrastructure. So out of that suit was birthed Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District. So we are a political subdivision within the state of Ohio. So we're not the city, we're not the county. We're kind of right there in between, right there in the state of Ohio. And so we have over 62 member communities as part of our regional entity, with the City of Cleveland being the largest, and we're served over 1 million residents. And so just to kind of put it all in perspective, so the Sewer District, we own about 330 miles of sewers. So we own the large sewers in the particular areas. And then this map right here shows a couple of dots, and these dots represent our facilities that we own in conjunction with the sewers. So we own 3 wastewater treatment plants, very uniquely named. We have Easterly, which sits off of Lakeshore Boulevard, right on Lake Erie. We have Westerly that sits right next to Edgewater Park on Lake Erie as well. And then we have Southerly, which is down in Cuyahoga Heights off of 77 South from 480. And then we also own an environmental service center that houses our certified lab. So with that, we treat over 90 billion gallons of wastewater annually. And again, I mentioned we have 330 miles of sewers, but we also have 420 miles within our regional stormwater system. And so we have 2 programs along with us operating our wastewater treatment plants and our environmental service area. We have 2 programs, one called Project Clean Lake. You may have heard about this in the news. This is the program where the Sewer District has invested $3 billion, and it's over a span of 25 years. It's an agreement we made with the federal government to improve our infrastructure. So when we were created back in 1972, we were kind of releasing about 9 billion gallons of wastewater into the environment on a yearly basis. And so over the years, we have made improvements and we've kind of cut that number back. Around 2010, it was around only 4.5 billion gallons of wastewater going out into the environment. And so over a $3 billion investment, we're going to reduce that amount down to only 500 million gallons of wastewater that is relieved into the environment every year. I know many of you might have seen the story about 2 weeks ago where we had that big rain event right there after Labor Day. And one of our largest CSOs kind of went off, and it's right there on Edgewater Beach. And so we are investing in our system to kind of minimize with those events happening throughout our system. The other side or other program is our stormwater management program. And here we have created this program to invest in projects throughout the region to help with flooding and erosion. And so this program is fully funded through the impervious surface fee you see on your bill, whereas the your regular sanitary sewer bill fees are what provides the funding for our Project Clean Lake and the running of our treatment plants and service center. I want to take a moment to just kind of step back because sometimes there's a lot of confusion about who owns what sewer. So when I mentioned that we have about 330 miles of sewer that we own and operate, well, that's just a fraction. The local communities in here with the city of Cleveland owns thousands of miles of sewers. So these are the sewers that come down your street. And so these are the smaller sewers that come down the street. Then they would go to a main street and dump directly into our large sewer. We call them interceptors. And from here, we would convey the flow to our wastewater treatment plant. And so part of our Project Clean Lake investment, we're going throughout our service area and helping by installing new sewers to kind of pick up flow and prevent it from going out into the environment. And so one of those projects, I just want to briefly talk to you today because I want the real focus to be on our cost saving programs. But I just want to give you a heads up on some upcoming construction in your community. We have a project called West 3rd Quigley Westerly Miscellaneous CSO Control Project. It's a long word, but we kind of made an acronym out of it. And so you'll hear us talk about this project as W3QW. And so this project has multiple sites on the west side. Here we have highlighted some sites that are closer to Ward 14. And here we have just a few sites. So we've got some work that's going to occur on Wade Avenue. On Wade Avenue, we're basically going to do some internal relining of sewers. Down on Seymour Avenue, we are installing a new sewer down that street. Now, the majority of the work will be underground. So we're using trenchless technology to kind of put that new sewer in. And where you see these like yellowish orange boxes on these maps, these figures, that's where we will be above ground. And we'll have like a little construction area for our contractors to do the work. And then we'll also, which is near Ward 14, down on West 11th and Castle, down into Castle Park, we will have some work in that area as well. And so I just wanted to kind of give you a highlight that this work is coming. Majority of this work you may not see until next year. The contractor just started the work actually, and when they initially start up, they've got a lot of kind of paperwork and looking at setting up areas for them to set their stations at. So you won't see much activity right away, but the work will be coming soon. And what we'll do is we'll come back to the neighborhood and share exactly when you will see the big trucks are coming out or dirt being turned or even roads being closed. To go along with this project, the image that you're seeing is actually a project brochure that we have created to provide information to everyone in the community. And so you will have information about why we're doing the project. You'll see those same maps that I just showed you that kind of gives you a little bit more information. And then we also translated it into Spanish too. And so we'll have both versions available. We'll have them hard copy and electronic copies. We will mail these flyers to everyone in the impacted area. So everyone that's near that area where we had construction will probably get one of these brochures, and then we'll make sure that Councilwoman gets a stack, and we'll have some throughout the community. So individuals will be able to understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. And with that, I will allow Raquel to kind of pick up to talk to you a little bit about some of our cost saving programs that we have.
Okay, thank you, Angela. Okay, now, hello everyone on the panel. I can't see everybody here, but I just wanted to say hello to everyone. I don't think I've met Councilwoman Santana yet in person, but I look forward to meeting you once all this COVID issue is passed. But I just wanted to let you know that the sewer district is here to help out people through these times, as well as we're here 365 a day. None of these programs are new, except for the addition of some of the CARES Act monies that have been provided through legislation. But other than that, we have several cost savings programs in place right now to help residents that via own properties or that rent properties. And I'll start off by going first through our homestead exemption programs that we offer to seniors over the age of 65 or people under the age of 65 that are deemed totally disabled. They would qualify for a 40% reduction on their sewer portion. It's for water and sewer for the homestead if they qualify and meet the income guidelines, which I believe for 2020, the income guideline cap is $34,500 for a household. So if the household the income is $34,500 or less, they would qualify for our homestead program if they own and occupy that property. Next, we'll move to our affordability program. And this program is run through our Cleveland Housing Network partners that are just right there at 30th and Payne. They run the affordability program, which is offered to individuals that are not a senior under the age of 65, but they meet an income guideline for their household. So it would be themselves, a spouse, children, or themselves and children, and they would meet a particular guideline depending on how many people occupy that residence, and they would also receive a 40% reduction in water and sewer if they meet those qualifications. And then next we have our crisis assistance program that we offer to residents once a year if they're going through some type of hardship, loss of income, unexpected medical bills. Right now, we're dealing with a lot of people that are out of work, and that is definitely considered a crisis. So that program is being utilized to help people through this COVID situation right now. And what that does is it offers up to $300 off of the sewer portion of the bill. And that program is for homeowners and renters, okay? So your residents can be a renter and qualify for up to $300 reduction off of their sewer portion of their bill. And then next we have our plumbing repair program that is also run through Cleveland Housing Network. And I'm not sure if anybody wants the number to Cleveland Housing Network, I can provide it, but they do have a website. If you go to Cleveland Housing Network Partners, the phone number, and I believe these applications are available online. But the plumbing repair program is offered to homeowners as well as renters, and it will offer minor plumbing repairs such as a leaking faucet. If you have leaking faucets, if you have a toilet that's constantly running, they'll replace a flap. Now they do come in and do some minor plumbing repairs, and I believe there's a cap of about $2,000 on certain plumbing repairs that they will have a certified plumber come in, and it's a certified plumber that falls within their cap of plumbers. They use their own plumbers. It wouldn't be a plumber that the homeowner or tenant would find. It would be someone sent down from Cleveland Housing Network Partners. And then finally, we have our summer sprinkling program, which we're right now at the tail end of our summer sprinkling program. But I will tell you, this has been a year that we have seen the greatest uptick in our residents applying for summer sprinkling. Now, the summer sprinkling program is only offered to homeowners that own and occupy the property. So it's not for a rental property. But what it does is our summer sprinkling program runs from May 1st till September 30th. So that's why I said we're at the tail end of it, because we're about to cap out of it. But the beauty of the summer sprinkling program is once you register for the program, you're on the program as long as you own and occupy that property. Or if you, for some reason, get a new account number through Cleveland Water, that would be the only reasons you would have to reapply. But once you apply for it, you're on the program as long as you're at that resident. And what it does is it takes into consideration your winter usage for water, and it compares it to the water that you consume during the months of May 1st to September 30th, which is usually greater. Now, some people say, oh, it's summer sprinkling, I don't water my lawn. It's not just for, we can't tell what you're using the water for. It's for any water that's being used in the resident, whether you're washing cars, filling up a pool. Some people use it to fill up a pool. They wait until after May 1st, of course, to fill that pool up so that they would get some type of savings compared to their winter usage, which, if you think about it, is going to be a great savings because you're using all that water at one time to fill up a large vessel like a pool or even a hot tub, or whether you're just washing more, or if you're actually sprinkling your lawn. Some people have, you know, the sprinkler systems at their residence, and it will catch all that water that's not being returned back to our sewer system, and it will allow you a discount on your bill every month that you exceed your winter average from May 1st till September 30th. And the beauty of it is it starts every year. It starts and stops on its own. You just have to initiate it by signing up. And you can go to our website, NEORSD.org, and you'll go under cost savings. And when you go under cost savings, it will bring up homestead, crisis, affordability, summer sprinkling, and our plumbing program. And you can fill out the application there. One of our representatives in our customer service department will process that application for you as long as you own the property. And we can, we verify that through Cuyahoga County records. You'll be approved for the program. And so that savings will fluctuate for you every year, but it can be any amount depending on how much water you use at the property. And I believe now with those are our constant programs. Now with COVID situation right now, Cleveland Housing Network Partners, Cleveland Housing Partners, they're running an additional program through the CARES Act, which is allowing residents to have monies allocated, and it will be for the city of Cleveland to help in addition to the crisis program, it's an additional savings that will, monies that will go towards your utility bills, such as your light bill, your gas bill, further discounts on water and sewer, as well as once you're put on any of the crisis programs, you'll automatically be set up on a payment plan with Cleveland Water. Cleveland Housing Partners works in conjunction with Northeast Ohio Regional Sewer District, as well as Cleveland Water. So during these times, I know we're in a moratorium right now for shutoffs for water, but we're gonna get past this eventually. And I know some people are in some dire straight situations where they have not been able to make payments on some of their utilities. So Cleveland Housing Partners would be a good resource for your residents to reach out to take advantage of some of the opportunities that are out here right now with the situation that we have with so many people out of work or just struggling to pay bills right now because we're all at home more and using a little more of our water, sewer, light, and gas right now. And I think with that, I think we've touched all of them. Angela, did I touch over all the, I believe I touched all the cost savings programs that we're offering right now? Your mic is, you're not mute. Yeah, that's okay.
Here we go. Yes, you touched everything. Thank you so much, Raquel. And I just wanted to kind of show everyone that we also have some of this information in our cost savings brochure. And this is what it looks like. We have it not only in English, we also have it translated in Spanish. Yes. For your use as well. And so any questions you may have with any of the affordability programs, please contact the sewer district, our customer service reps, and they will be able to provide contact information for you for the Cleveland Housing Partner for the programs that they run for us.
Yes. And while we're on this call, if anyone has any questions, feel free to just reach out to me.
Okay.
Thank you. I don't see any questions on the chat, but thank you for providing the Cleveland Housing Network. I know a lot of residents have been taking advantage of those services and they're much needed. And I want to thank you for translating all the material. Very important.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Councilwoman, I just wanted to get in just one last thing is that, you know, as part of our community benefits, we have a program. So if you have a company, we have our business opportunity program does a lot of work with small businesses, minority businesses, and women-owned businesses. And so I would encourage your residents in the area that have businesses to make sure they register for this program, in which they might be able to partake in some of the procurement opportunities that we put out, not only on the construction side of the house, but also just a lot of supplies and services that we warrant that we take in effect for the sewer district. And so along with the Business Opportunity Program, we have our Good Neighbor Ambassador Program, which is a workforce development program, in which we hire individuals from the neighborhood to kind of work around our construction projects in the area, beautifying the areas, as well as they receive training and a whole slew of skill building for individuals to make their next step as far as career. We are going out for our new cohort next year. And so we will be coming back and talking to you in more detail about the Good Neighbor Ambassador Program. But the general requirements is someone who has graduated from high school or with a GED, and they go through our interviewing process to be hired into the program. The program is a temporary program, a 9 to 12 month program, set up to not only, again, to provide services within the neighborhood for beautification, but also we provide them with training associated with the work of the sewer district, as well as construction. And we have a lot of partners that also work with us that provide training as well. And then last, we have a student program called Student Technical Enrichment Program. This program is a free program for students in 6th through 9th grade. This year, it's a virtual program. We run this in partnership with the City of Cleveland Division of Water. And so we are still accepting students for this program. And I'll make sure I'll put in the chat the actual website link where you can just go online and download the application and fill it out. We're taking applications up until, I do believe it's, wow, these days are going so quickly, October, mid-October. And then with all our work and all our projects that we have going on and our programs within the communities, you know, we want to make sure that all our work and our focus, we are keeping our Great Lake great. And so with that, that's the end of the slides that I have, and I'm open for any questions.
Well, great job. Thank you for sharing that, especially the Student Technical Enrichment Program. I know there's a lot of families that have taken advantage of that, and they said it's a great program. So thank you. I appreciate it. And you know, if there's any other questions, I could email that to you afterwards. We want to move along. It's 6:31. Thank you, Jackie, Angela, Raquel, Eliezer. Thank you. Is there another presentation, or is that it?
No, that's it. I should stop. You don't see my
Sergeant
screen anymore, do you?
McLain was able to get on. Nope, I don't see the screen. Sergeant McLain, could you hear me? Okay.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you,
Yes,
Jackie.
thank you.
Okay, so now we have Sergeant McLain. No, nothing. Okay. I'm gonna give him a few minutes, and then if not, we'll just kind of.
Jasmine, this is Joan. Maybe. Then I muted myself. Maybe he's muted.
I checked, and he's not muted. I just sent. You have to unmute me. So let me check.
Because I have two telephone icons on my screen that show that they're both muted. Is he on phone?
Yes, he is on phone, and I don't see that he is muted.
Now somebody
okay,
just.
do you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
He was muted.
It was, yeah, you have to press *6 when you're on a phone. I figured that one out.
Oh, good. Good for you. So welcome.
Okay.
Thank you, Sergeant. So really quick, Sergeant, some of the top concerns, and I know you're going to give your updates. You know, we're getting many calls regarding speeding in the neighborhood, ATVs. Of course, everyone knows about the activity taking place in Denison Car Wash, St. Michael's premises. And so I talked to the safety director. He put together a plan. I know that you guys have been tackling that every weekend. So if you could give an update on that and maybe share some stats with the residents, I would really appreciate it.
So I haven't heard anything about the plan from the safety director, but as a matter of fact, I'm supposed to be with them on Saturday evening. We're going to be going out and looking at some of the bars that are in violation of the social distancing and the staying open past the regular hours. I don't know what bars it's going to be yet, but I assume that I'm going to get an update from them on Saturday when I see them personally. We have been obviously well aware of the motorcycles, especially at 5-4 in Detroit, that we have responded there numerous times. We have teamed up with some cars from third shift. Occasionally sheriffs and also the State Highway Patrol assist us as well. But as I think a lot of people understand, our policy doesn't permit for us to chase for basically what amounts to traffic infractions. And I got to tell you that I agree with that policy, because too many times we get in these chases and there's no end to them until somebody crashes. And a lot of times it's a innocent bystander that pays the price. So I think that if we think about it in the grand scheme of things, I think we can all agree with that type of policy. But it does create this problem that we have where they're emboldened because they know we're not going to chase them. As a matter of fact, the way our policy reads, if we turn our lights on and they take off, we have to turn our lights off and turn around and go the opposite direction. And so, of course, they're all well aware of this, and they take advantage of that situation. We'll end up chasing them out of one area, such as 5-4 in Denison, and they all get together and they go over to 6-5 in Store behind Rose's parking lot. Then they go up to Abbey Road under the 90 bridge, and they get together with people with cars and they blast their loud music, and it's kind of like a big a circle. And the only time we end up catching anybody is when their vehicle breaks down, and then they're kind of get left behind. We do end up catching people on occasion that way. We do arrest them, take them to jail when we're able to, and we tow their vehicles and try to put impounds on them so that they can't get them back. But we end up finding a lot of these same people just return a week later with another vehicle. I'm looking forward to meeting with the safety director and find out what kind of plan they put together. Hopefully it's going to involve something with our traffic unit, and hopefully we can get some type of resolve on this. I mean, they go by the 2nd District Police Station 2 or 3 times every night as well. It's very frustrating. I know it's a horrible nuisance. I wish we were able to do more. We're doing what we can, and we're responding when we're able. I hope everybody can understand that we are limited on what we are able to do. Our unit, the community services unit, we not only take care of like traffic infractions like this, but they also have us training for mobile field force for the presidential debate that's coming up. We attend every protest that goes on anywhere in the city. They learned from the May 30th protest downtown, the Justice Center, that they'd rather have too many police officers than not enough, because then things get out of hand and they're not able to control what happens. So we are not available every night. We work 5 nights a week. We have 2 nights off. This month we're off Sunday, Mondays. Next month we're off Friday, Saturdays. So if you do have some type of a situation, we always encourage you to call the 621-1234 number for non-emergencies, and 911 obviously for emergencies. That's the best way to get a car dispatched to where you're at to address whatever the problem is. But we do get a lot of complaints that come through Councilwoman Santana's office, and we do follow up on every one of them that we're able to as quickly as we can with the resources that we do have available. That being said, if there's any questions, we could probably have a few minutes. I can answer a few questions, or if you have something that you need to tell me that needs to be addressed, we can put them on our list of things to check out.
And while
Sergeant McLain?
Go ahead.
I actually have a question. I'm a resident on 41st Street at Trowbridge.
Yes.
Can you hear me okay? I'm using a microphone and a headset.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, how can residents help you? It's like, I know that a number of the kids that are on motorbikes in my area are beamers. And, I mean, does recording them and providing you with some sort of facial identification of the vehicle, they usually don't have registration, so that's not much of a help. Is any of that, I mean, how can CSU in the 2nd District empower the residents to help with the problem and get it under control?
That's a really good idea. We haven't had anybody that's called and give us any tips. Pictures are always best. If you could set an email with pictures and give us an address and tell us the names of the people that are involved. I wouldn't go out in front of their house and take pictures. Don't let them know that that's what you're doing. You know, don't put yourself out there like that. But if you could send them to me at pmclain, that's pmclain at city.cleveland.oh.us, then we can go over there and address it at their house. You know, when the police show up on the front porch and talk to the parents of a lot of these kids are underage, and say, okay, we know where you live, we know who you are, and this is going to stop now, or you guys are the ones that's going to pay the penalty. You know,
yeah,
then that could help us out.
I figured you had to have that bit of leverage with them. There are parents that are sitting on the front porch watching their kid run up and down the street.
Yeah, I don't know why they. I don't understand why they think that that's acceptable.
Right.
But they're responsible for what happens at their house.
I want to confirm pmclain, MCLAIN, at city.cleveland.bio.us.
Yep.
Is it an M or an N?
Sure.
M as in Michael.
Michael, okay. And we provided that email address on the chat as well.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Sergeant?
Yes.
I've been info came to me that the people at the car wash on Fridays and Saturday nights, when they do it, they're using some type of police radio. It's not a scanner, it's actually a police radio. Then once it gets dispatched, they've been heading out of there like ASAP. Yeah,
that's a major problem. There's apps you can put on your phone that you can listen to different districts, and they do that. So, yeah, that's not the first time I've heard of that.
And also, I want to concern that between 3 and 5 almost every day on West 50th between Denison and Store, we get a lot of the dirt bikes and the four-wheelers riding up and down.
Between 3 and 5?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'll let our day shift people know that. Okay. My guys don't even start till 6 o'clock p.m.
Yeah, because it's
but we do have a day shift. So I will let them know about that.
All right, thank you. You guys be safe.
Thank you very much. Okay, Councilwoman Santana, I think it's all for you now.
Yeah, and I'll just add this one too. As far as
McLain.
Okay, go ahead. Someone else. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I want to ask one more question if nobody else has one. Is it possible, or I mean, I'm familiar with a traffic control or maybe a product called stop sticks. I mean, is there a reason that y'all can't deploy those when there is a ton of these folks running down these road streets? Or do they not work on a all-terrain kind of vehicle?
They don't train us to use those. We do have a set here in the 2nd District Police Station. We're not allowed to touch them. And I think that the reason that they don't use them for the motorcycles is because that'll cause an accident, and then we're going to get sued.
Sued by the criminal. Wow.
Well, yeah, that happens all the time.
Oh,
no problem.
Goodness. Thank you again, sir.
Yes.
And Sergeant, I would thank you for all the questions. One thing I would add to, we're getting extensive calls regarding like drug activity in many of our vacant homes. And so I just kind of want to report to everyone, when we get them in our office, we report them to the commander. He sends it out to the vice unit. And I encourage everyone to continue calling, because that's the way that we just kind of compile a report of all the calls that are and the complaints for that nuisance house. But anything that you want to add for drug houses?
Well, we have quite a few on our radar, but like you say, the vice unit handles those. So whenever I receive them, I always forward them over to Frank Wyma and the vice unit as well. Because we travel in black and white cars. So if we go and we sit on a street where someone says there's drug activity, all they do is take a break for a half an hour. And then when we leave, they're back out there doing it again. So really, they got to have an undercover car kind of watch them and see what they're doing. And try to infiltrate them on that way.
Any other questions? Thank you, Sergeant McLain.
All right, thank you. I'm glad I was able to get on.
Yeah, we are too. Thank you.
All right, take care.
You too. So next up, and I know it's already 6:45. Hopefully my Zoom doesn't end, but next up, Metrowest Community Development Organization. I've been wanting to bring them on for quite some time. Normally, we get the calls in our office around housing and safety, economic development, which is fine, but Metrowest Community Development Organization services 3 neighborhoods, the Clark Fulton, Stockyard,
here
and
to
Brooklyn
present
Center.
on their behalf,
They have new staff members, which is the community engagement
they service
coordinator,
about
and
70%
of
information
Ward
about this
14.
organization.
So I want the residents to learn a little bit more about their services and what they do, and
Jasmine,
so that way they have another
so I'm going to go through, I know we're getting
to
close to the end here, so I will
challenges
try to
in the
make
neighborhood.
it speedy. Just have a little mini presentation. All right, can everybody see my screen? Okay, great. All right. Okay, so this is just our mission statement of our organization. So just to start off, like everybody else, we're navigating the pandemic and kind of had to adjust our work to meet the needs of the community while keeping everybody safe. So we are currently still operating virtually. We're not open to the public as of yet, but we are definitely still available to the community by phone and email. And we're still out there participating in events in the community, mostly outdoors at this point, just in a socially distant and safe way for everybody. So the different departments within our organization consist of community engagement. That is the department that I am in. And some of the things that we do is a bulk of our work is to assist local community groups. So that could be traditional and non-traditional block club models. I'm very excited because we have 2 newly established ones. So we have one in Brooklyn Center where we have a small amount of residents who have started to come together and plan non-traditional like little get-togethers, more of just getting to know each other at this point since it is so new. And then we also have a really new group in Roberto Clemente area. So if anybody's interested in participating in those, definitely reach out so we can connect you. And then we typically offer a computer lab when we're open regularly to residents to come in and use some technology that they may not otherwise have access to. So right now that unfortunately is closed due to the pandemic, but we are offering a virtual Facebook Live series called Don't Panic, and that really dives into just the basics of using technology, mostly computer-based. And then we are working heavily with Empower CLE to combat the digital divide during this pandemic and hoping and connecting our residents to low cost or free internet. And then going off of what Jasmine said right before, and then just the safety information, we do have safety coordinator Adam Gifford in our office who does handle all of our safety complaints. So like Jasmine said, you can always feel free to reach out directly to us and we can help with any of those concerns also. Also within our department is our MyCom regional coordinator. She has been working heavily with schools just trying to get through this adjustment of virtual learning and kind of combat some of those challenges. Civic engagement is within our community engagement department, but there's a lot of different work going on with civic engagement right now. You may or may not have seen a lot of that going on social media, but we have had a significant amount of pop-ups in the community, just giving out PPE gear, but then also educational materials, helping people get registered to vote, encouraging them to complete their census. We've been creative and had different caravanas throughout the community. This consists of, a line of cars playing a recorded message specific to the event. We partnered with Councilwoman Santana and the city to do a census split in our neighborhood. So just really getting out there in the community, dropping off resources directly to doorsteps. So maybe some of you have received those. And then also we partnered with Amazon and had All In, A Fight to Democracy movie showing. So that was pretty exciting. That was at City Life. And then another one of our departments is marketing and economic development. So at the start of the pandemic, they were hit heavily with just trying to assist all of our local small businesses in getting a small business relief grant. So they were able to help out multiple organizations in that way. And then just providing day-to-day small business support. And then also just different neighborhood marketing efforts. Two new exciting additions are, you may have seen the I Love My Community yard signs out and about. So those consist of a QR code that you can just scan directly from your phone's camera, and it will take you to a link tree. So that consists of a lot of different resources and information once you scan that. So that's pretty neat. And we do have some of those still if any residents are interested in putting those in your front yard. And then a lot of businesses have them out currently too. Another marketing effort that is coming very soon are a select number of community bulletin boards. So these are pretty large boards, about 10 feet, that will display, we'll be able to put different flyers and things happening, different community resources on there. And there will also be an opportunity for residents to put up their own materials in those. That will be exciting. There'll be one in each of our 3 neighborhoods. And then our housing department, they have a lot of new resources, new and exciting things happening too. So that we recently got 2 of our staff members are newly certified real estate agents under ESOP Realty. So this is exciting just because they are able to help people not only buy but also sell their homes in our neighborhood. And the intent with this is, typically real estate agents tend to overlook our neighborhood. So with them being directly in the community, we can do more transactions directly within the community and kind of eliminate out-of-state transactions. The same 2 staff are also recently licensed to be lead risk assessors. So with that, they are able to come out to resident homes and provide some education if somebody thinks that there is a risk for lead in their home. We also have our healthy housing coordinator in office, and you may or may not see her driving around the neighborhood at some point or stopping in front of the home and doing an external or an exterior assessment on all of our homes in the service area. So that's been going on throughout this year and will continue until the end of the year. And so what she's doing is doing an assessment on the exterior of everybody's home and then following that assessment up with a letter to the home. And the letter basically will say either A, your home looks great, thank you so much for maintaining it properly, or here are some suggestions on things that you can fix or improve on your home to avoid any housing violations later on. And then if you get one of those letters, there will also be resources within that letter that you can reach out to and get some help if need be. And then just some of our larger initiatives that we are doing on an organizational level is our master planning in partnership with Councilwoman Santana, Cleveland Foundation, Metro Hospital, and then us. So right now there is a survey going out for community members to complete. So we would love to get your feedback on that if you haven't already. filled that out. We went over civic engagement efforts, and then our Healthy Housing Initiative incorporates a lot of what I talked about with those assessments that are being conducted. But in addition, we're partnering with Old Brooklyn, CDC, and 211 to launch a pilot program. Basically, right now we're in the recruiting phase of getting 50 seniors signed up for that and making sure that they are receiving whatever necessary resources, not only through 211, but also in conjunction with the CDC. And then we have a Meals on Wheels initiative. At the start of the pandemic, one of our staff members quickly realized the need for food resources for our seniors specifically. So we had an excess of seniors sign up to have Meals on Wheels delivered to their homes. So with that, we were able to apply to the CARES Act to get some funding. And we now have somebody hired through that who delivers meals to our seniors specifically in our service area. So that was awesome that we were able to meet that need. All right, and then arts and culture. So some of you may hopefully by now have seen the exciting art displays in the community. So there's 3 that are brand new and currently up. Our first is Art at a Distance. So Susie is our arts coordinator in our office, and she was able to partner and recruit with 11 local artists to create a piece of artwork that represents their experience through the COVID pandemic. And those are currently up on display at Myers Pool and Lincoln West Fence. So those will be up for another couple of months, I think until November. So definitely check that out. They're really beautiful. And then we also, Susie partnered with Building Hope in the City for their Rally CLE Day and was able to get a mural put on Kamal's Tire Shop on 25th. Oh, I'm sorry, Clark and 43rd. Getting ahead of myself. So that one's really beautiful too. And then another newly completed mural was done on Zubul Books building, and that is of Gina DeJesus. So it's right across from the Cleveland Family Center for Missing Children and Adults. So very beautiful mural, definitely check it out. And then just, we're always looking for volunteers. So if you're interested in volunteering with us, definitely you can either write down this link. This is my direct extension on the screen. Or if you follow us on social media, then we post that link up. And then I don't know if anybody's able to either take a screenshot or if you want to write down any specific employee's number, this is how you can reach us directly. So with that, I'll go back in case anybody needs this, but I think that's it unless anybody has any questions or Councilman, if you would like me to elaborate on anything specific.
Any questions?
I have one. This is Carrie Davidson. When you talk about the block clubs and you helped 2 get started recently, what's involved? What are those block clubs doing? I mean, I guess you already said that, but how do you help them get organized? Do you have materials or just kind of educate the people who are trying to organize something?
Yeah, so it could be a little bit of both. It kind of just depends on the need of the group. All of our groups are just a little bit different. So some of them, it may be as simple as just printing and helping disperse flyers. Others, it's assisting with grant writing and just like the general organization of trying to gather people together.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alana.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was great. And Elena is a longtime resident here. She actually worked in my office. And I'm just so glad to have her at Metro West. She's doing phenomenal work. She's killing it there. So thank you. She's very passionate about what she does in our neighborhood. We're really glad to have her. So thank you, Elena. So just to finish with a council update. I know it's already at 7 o'clock, so I'm gonna try to be brief through these updates. But once again, these meetings are to share all the information. So much happening in the neighborhood. Newsletters, they were mailed out last week. If you haven't received a copy, there's a lot of information on this newsletter. Please let me know, write your contact information on the chat or call my office, 216-664-4238. We wanna make sure that you're on the list to receive a newsletter. Bulk week, you know, reminder, it's the first full week of every month. So the next bulk week is the week of October 4th. Please do not put out your furniture prior to that. It just goes everywhere and you will get cited. I drive around the neighborhood. If it's something that's been there 3-4 days prior, I do call it in because it just, you know, it's a nuisance to the neighborhood, to the area. Remember that you have 4 times that you are able to drop off at the transfer station on Ridge Road 4 times a year if you're a resident. So if you need to drop off and it's before bulk week or after bulk week, that is an option. So next bulk week, October 4th. Vacant lots, city continues to cut grass, but I encourage you, if there's an abandoned vacant lot and the grass is high, please call our office, or you could call the city directly to 664-2000, and they will make sure to come out and cut the grass. Reminder, our office is collaborating with Digital C and AT&T, who is providing internet connection for as low as $18. And if you have children in the CMSD schools, it's actually $10. And the schools are giving out laptops, but it's quality, affordable internet. So this is a huge partnership. We learned through the pandemic, right, that internet was no longer a luxury, but it was something that families need to connect. So if you need any information on that, I'll write it on the chat. Elena, if you're still on, can you provide like the Digital C contact if you have it? So street resurfacing, there's a lot of streets being resurfaced in Ward 14 area. Everywhere you go, it's like, you know, one ways here and there. I know it could be frustrating, especially if you're trying to get to your job, but it's going to be well worth it. Clark Fulton construction capital project should be finalized by November 13th. And I'm not sure if you guys have driven by, but there's some nice color sidewalks. So this was a nice art addition that was a surprise to a lot of our residents. We didn't know it was going to be so colorful, nice touch. Store Avenue, very exciting. This was some funds that were left over. And so we decided, you know, in council and the city to spend it on Store Avenue, which has been deteriorating for as long as I could remember. So work on Store Avenue should be completed by November as well. And then this is a county project, which is Ridge Road and Denison Avenue, repair and resurfacing. And it's also anticipated to be completed by November 27th. So hopefully by December, by the holidays, all the resurfacing around Ward 14 should be finished, hopefully, and look much cleaner and nicer. Very exciting Metro Health Community Meeting, which is going to be held Wednesday, September 30th at 6 p.m. You get to hear the latest news on major initiatives, including the 60 million housing and retail development. The Clark Fulton Master Plan, I know Elena touched a little bit on that, but that still continues. We want to make sure we engage residents not only in the Clark Fulton neighborhood, but throughout the ward, so they could give their feedback on and their challenges of what they want to see in the neighborhood. Construction of the Metro Health new hospital towers. So once again, that's Wednesday, September 30th at 6 p.m. I put all this information on the Jasmine Santana Councilwoman Ward 14 page, Facebook. So please, for the latest information, I know it's a lot of information we put out there, like the page, and then you could always go back and make sure that the links are there and the contact information. And then last but not least, we are having a spooktacular in the ward for our kids. I don't think trick-or-treating is gonna be an option this year because of the pandemic. So Ward 14 partnered with City Life and Metrowest, and they are going to do an event on Friday, October 30th from 6 to 9 p.m. We're gonna have a movie night with Coco. Who doesn't like Coco? And there's just gonna be a lot of activities for families. Hopefully the weather is nice by then. But I encourage you, I know I give a lot of updates. A lot of residents don't have internet, they don't have phones, and they don't have access to get these resources. Although I do newsletters and we do robocalls and we do emails and we talk to residents, you know, there's residents, a percentage that don't get none of this information. So I strongly encourage you, anything that you've heard here today, if you could share it with your neighbors, with your families in the ward and spread the word, I would really appreciate it. So that is all that I have today. Any questions? No. Any announcements from any organizations that are on the call today?
Can I?
Go ahead, Jaime. Yep, go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to remind everyone that the libraries are open. We are open with modifications, of course, because of social distancing and all of that. We have limited amount of computers and people are only limited to an hour per day and things like that. But we are open and, you know, from 10 to 6, Monday through Saturday. And, you know, if you don't have internet at home, you can come to the library and use the computer for an hour. There is assistance to use, you know, to navigate the computers and in this new world of, in this new digital world. And even the library has had to make changes, you know, for all of our programming now it's online. All of our story times are online. We're using Facebook and Zoom in order to you know, push our programming out to our public. So all of our branches are open, including main library downtown. So.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, Councilwoman.
Hey everybody, it's Julie Nations at Metro Health. Great to see such a big group tonight. This is wonderful. We just want to remind everybody to get your flu shot and any vaccinations that you or your family members may have put off. We want to make sure that you know that you can come in to get your flu shot at all and any of the Metro Health pharmacies, and that's on a walk-in basis. If you or anyone you know is in the area of Middleburg Heights, we are having drive-through shots and immunizations, which is really exciting. We're the first organization to do drive-through immunizations. I think that's pretty cool. And that's only at our Middleburg Heights location though. If you have any questions, let us know. We want everybody to be healthy and happy and safe, certainly through at least the rest of this year.
Thank you, Julie.
Thanks.
Julie, I received a call, a question from a resident. It was, is the Express Care doing virtual appointments?
Is Express Care doing virtual
appointments?
Great question. I'm not really sure how to answer that. Let me get back to you.
Okay.
Councilwoman, this is Angela Jones again. I just want to let you know that we will come back and talk in more details about the upcoming construction. I know I glossed over it very quickly tonight, but just want to make sure that let everybody know that we will come back and talk a little bit more about the project.
Thank you, Angela. You're very helpful today. Great presentation. And you know what, something that I almost forgot, it's not about the sewer district, but alleys. Last year, we begged the city to come out and clean 10 of the worst alleys in Ward 14. And it was the owner's responsibility to maintain the overgrowth behind their property. So this year, it's also another issue. I mean, there's a lot of overgrowth. We know we have a lot of vacant houses. So there was a lot of volunteers this past weekend, and they were able to clean some alleys. Please, please maintain the overgrowth behind your property in the alley. I mean, kids use it, cars go by, people only have access. Some people just only have access to their garage through the alleys. I will be out the end of this month. I already sent the letter to all the residents. I will be out at the end of this month with the health inspector. And unfortunately, they will be citing residents with the overgrowth. Unless they are seniors or the disabled, we definitely have resources for that. But if you're a property owner, you're not senior, you're healthy, and you could actually maintain, but you choose not to, the city will cite you. So this is a quality of life issue. It's really affecting our kids as they walk through the alleys. And so we want to tackle that issue in the ward. So that is it for us. That is my time. And since I got one more question, my neighbors speeding cars. Okay. So, yes. So there's a question about speed bumps. The city is looking at purchasing speed bumps, and I can't tell you what material they are, but I want to say plastic, but it's not plastic. Throughout the ward, because speeding has increased in our area. So we are in discussion of that. I will let you know once that legislation is finalized, and hopefully it'll be soon, because I definitely want about 100 in the ward. So, but thank you all for joining today. Thank you for your patience. I appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of the week. Have a good day.
Good one. Bye, everybody.
Have a good evening, everyone.
Goodbye. Have a good evening.